Good morning, family. Welcome to Morning Devotion Light. Today is Monday, September 18th. Let's begin by welcoming and greeting our Heavenly Parent and true parents. 하늘 부모님과 참 지인 참 부모님께 경배. 바로. And for our family pledge, let's welcome Pastor Mohan Stevens.
생명세 1. 천연국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 본향 땅을 찾아 본연의 창조의 상인 지상 천국과 천상 천국을 창건할 것을 맹세하나이다. 2. 천연국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님을 모시어 천주의 대표적 가정이 되며 중심적 가정이 되어 가정에서는 효자, 국가에서는 충신, 세계에서는 성인, 천주에서는 성자의 가정의 도리를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 3. 천여국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 4대 심정권과 3대 왕권과 황족권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 4. 천여국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님의 창조의 상인 천주대 가족을 형성하여 자유와 평화와 통일과 행복의 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 5. 천여국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 매일 주체적 전상세계와 대상적 지상세계의 통일을 향해 선진적 발전을 촉진화할 것을 맹세하나이다. 6. 천여국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님의 대신 가정으로서 천연을 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 7. 천여국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 심정문화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 8. 천여국 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 천여국 시대를 맞이하여 절대 신앙, 절대 사랑, 절대 복종으로 신인의 일체 이상을 이루어 지상 천국과 전상 천국의 해방권과 석방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Thank you, Pastor Mohan. Now for our opening prayer, I'd like to invite Noriko Sato. Noriko, could you please unmute and pray for us today? Noriko-san? Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I cannot play today, sorry.
That's okay. Another time. Kumiko-san, Kumiko Valentine, can you please pray for us today? You can unmute. Thank you.
Dear Heavenly Parents, thank you. Today, September 18th, we get gathered together, morning delight and centered Reverend Milhan Stevens gather together. We pray together. I really pray for the America and unity with Korea and Japan situation and it is very difficult time to understand for the whole situation, but we believe that centered true mothers unite with her, and we pray for her health and all the she tried to do effort and unity with her. Please guide her, guide us, and unity with her, and all the United States members together pray Center of Chonshin with Dr. Kim, and also Damian Dunkling, President Dunkling. Please unity. This morning we gathered together, Reverend Milhan Stevens, Center of Reverend Stevens, together with brothers and sisters. Thank you. I pray by name, Kumiko Valentin, Honor Chongyu. Thank
That's
you.
you. Thank you, Yumiko-san.
Thank you.
Okay, brothers and sisters, let's take a few moments to share our gratitude, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a good sharing. If it's okay with you guys, I'd like to share today. It's about the power of prayer. Pastor Milhan would appreciate this. We have a little girl that comes to service every week with her mother, Tia and Monica. Little girl's name is Isabella. I met Isabella about a year ago. And when her mother introduced me, she wouldn't look at me, she wouldn't speak to me, anything. And for the past year, she would never look at me, she would never speak to me. And I wasn't sure if she was very shy or if she was autistic. I didn't know what was going on with her, but I didn't want to push her. I didn't want to, infringe myself on her. I just gave her space. But I've been praying for Isabella every single day for a long time. I pray for all of our children, or especially our little children, our babies, our children. So I pray for Isabella every day. She's on my list. So yesterday, and I hadn't seen them in a while. Tia and Monica, they traveled away for a little while, so they hadn't come to Sunday service in a while. So yesterday, and also Isabella and her mother always sing in the choir. When they're there, they sing in the choir too. So yesterday when they came, Isabella came walking up to the area where we were getting ready to, rehearse for our choir. And I said, "Oh, hi, Isabella, haven't seen you in a long time." Well, she started talking. She said, "Well, I've been so busy. I've been busy with my friends, and I've been busy with my school and busy with my family." She still didn't look at me. She had her head down, but she just started talking and talking. And I just thought it was like a little miracle. It was a little miracle. And I know in my heart this, because I've been praying for her every single day for a long time. So I just wanted, especially Pastor Miller, to know, he's always talking about milestone number 1, the power of prayer. It's true. It's true. I mean, this little girl, I was thinking something was wrong with me and that she was picking up on it because she's second gen. I thought, oh, she knows my sin. Or, I was thinking all these, how, because a lot of children, they don't like you when they first meet you. So I was thinking it was something she doesn't, something wrong with me. But I just felt so grateful to God, about the power of prayer. So thank you, Pastor Milhan. That was truly a blessing for me yesterday. And thank you.
So happy to hear that.
Yeah,
I noticed that I think she was more talkative, even playing chess with Hiroki yesterday. Even I got a chance to just talk to her, not about her life, but at least, yeah, she looked me in the eyes now. I realized, wow, she has beautiful eyes. I didn't get to see them before.
Yeah.
So thank you for your prayer, and because it takes at least one person to connect to a community, right? So, yeah, that's the hope. No one's left behind. Everyone feels welcome here.
All right, family, now it's time for our Godable reading. We're reading from the Mother of Peace, our true mother's memoir. Pastor Milhan.
Thank you, Kathleen. Let's just jump right in, sharing the sound. Let's begin.
Welcome to Mother of Peace, and God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. A memoir by Hak Jahan Moon, a production of the Washington Times Global Media Group, narrated by Allison Hiroto. A speaking tour stained with tears. Mom, you're packing your suitcase again? I didn't answer my third daughter, Unjin, right away. My eldest daughter, Ajin, who was beside me and had been silently helping me pack, added, "Mother, where are you going this time?" That is the first thing my children would ask when they saw me take out a suitcase and start packing. Children wish for their mother to always be near them, playing with them, embracing them. However bound by church activities, meeting with people, and taking frequent trips, I was away from my children more than I was with them. Taking out my suitcase to pack my things signaled to my children that I was at the beginning of another mission far from home. Although traveling can be enjoyable when it is a mission, challenges set in from the moment you leave. Even if you stay in a palace, your heart is not at ease, as it is not your home. Furthermore, if you are entrusted with a public mission, each step you take is laden with heavy responsibility. For a decade after the Holy Wedding in 1960, I was rarely at home, so I was rarely comfortable. I went around the entire country, one day visiting a small village near the demarcation line with North Korea, another day journeying to a remote island village, taking part in events and sharing time with members. My heart was not able to relax for even a single day. In 1969, crossing the ocean to Japan marked the beginning of my life of international tours. I had a demanding schedule, and as I arrived in each new city, I treated each new land as my own people and the people in each country as my brothers and sisters. Nonetheless, I would find time to buy postcards, and at the end of the day, though it was often past midnight, I would write letters to my children who were wishing I were at home. Here is one of them. Dear Hyojin, I miss you and want to see you. My son, whom I always call to and think of and run to and hug. My good, cute, precious, beloved son, whom I never want to let go of. I miss you. So, Hyojin, though we are separated for a while, you are one of heaven's happy sons. Our filial son, Hyojin, our good-hearted and wise Hyojin. I love you. I know you will become a filial son of heaven, a filial son of earth, and a filial son of the universe. You will become a good example of a filial child. Both Appa and Oma feel so sad that we are too busy following the will and have such little time to spend with you. Yet, we feel so proud and secure because of you. Hyojin, you are different from other children. Even though you run around with your friends, you must remember your origin is God and not damage his dignity. Appa and Oma are always proud of you. When we see you in the near future, can you surprise your Appa and Oma a lot? Appa and Oma have a great dream for you. Oma is waiting and always praying for that. Stay healthy. Goodbye. The fact that I could not spend much quality time with my children due to my various public responsibilities always weighed on my mind. Despite this, my children were very mature for their age and grew up well. Once my eldest son, Hyojin, was interviewed by a newspaper reporter. What do you respect most about your mother? Hyojin answered without hesitation. I admire my mother's love and perseverance in embracing my father and making him happy. All mothers in the world are great, but my mother especially absolutely trusts and encourages us. I'm always deeply moved by how she does that. It's really amazing that she gave birth to 14 children, even though she's always so busy with global affairs. Even on the hottest of summer days, I will not get into a cold swimming pool. It's because, as I mentioned, I gave birth to many children, 4 of them through cesarean sections. When I was giving birth to our 6th son, Youngjin, I was in danger because his head was so large. My husband was in Europe, and I was told it would be dangerous for both mother and baby if we did not act within 30 minutes. So I had no choice but to undergo a cesarean section. Once you've had a cesarean section, it becomes difficult to give birth naturally. That being so, I prayed with a desperate heart. During that prayer, the scenes of Jesus' crucifixion came to me. I managed the pain with the resolution that, through the birth of new life, I would overcome the force of death that surrounded Jesus on Calvary. As it is for all women, my giving birth to a new life was an experience of heaven and hell. I did not find it easy to have 4 C-sections, yet each time I gave birth, I was ready to die for the sake of God and for the sake of a new life. In the same way that our house grew lively as we filled it with children, our churches kept springing up in cities and villages filled with new members. From the outset, however, our goal was not to have the biggest church in Korea. Our goal was to bring salvation to the world as a true church that would wipe away all of humanity's tears. To accomplish that goal, I went on multiple world tours, following the first one in 1969. From the early 90s, I was the keynote speaker. I gave more speeches at more rallies, events, gatherings, and seminars that I can count. My footprints are found in almost every corner of the globe, ranging from unfamiliar metropolises to small primitive villages, from deserts scorched by the burning sun to thick jungles and breathtaking highlands. At each place, marginalized peoples, helpless women, children, and minority groups were waiting for me, and I anxiously looked forward to seeing them. I know I could offer them peace of mind, and that every step I took advanced the cause of peace. Knowing this enabled me to return to a room in a different hotel every night and resume the work at dawn the following day. It was typical for me to enter such a room in an unfamiliar city and sleep in a chair for a few hours, or to close my eyes while leaning back in a waiting room at an airport. Sometimes I came and went from a city without opening my suitcase. My mind was on meeting the people who were waiting for me. When I spoke in a communist nation for the first time, I sensed the presence of spirit persons outnumbering the living people who received me. While the region was embroiled in war, I went to Croatia. The moment I entered my hotel room, I knew that there were souls that had undergone unjust and miserable deaths, waiting for liberation. To liberate them, I did an all-night prayer vigil. When I go to Africa, I take anti-malarial medication. Once, an incorrect prescription caused me to suffer severe side effects, and I caught malaria, experiencing pain and a high fever. My hectic tour schedule left me no time for treatment. Somehow, along the way, the malaria disappeared. In the autumn of 1996, I went to Bolivia, where I had an experience I cannot forget. The capital, La Paz, is the highest major city in the world, at an altitude of almost 4,000 meters. Non-natives inevitably suffer from altitude sickness. Scheduled to speak for nearly an hour, I had an oxygen tank beside me at the podium. To make matters worse, the podium started to tip over every time I leaned on it slightly. The only solution was to have a strong young member hold the podium steady while I spoke. People were concerned, but I smiled throughout the speech. I felt nauseous and had a throbbing headache, and my legs were trembling, but I ignored it all. Under such circumstances, on the verge of collapsing, I kept a stiff upper lip and carried on. The audience was impressed, and people complimented me for my presentation. A local dignitary said, "She really is a person sent by God." The event was a tremendous success, and at the victory celebration that evening, I warmly held the hands of each participating member individually. Even though I was exhausted, I maintained a high spirit for the sake of the precious guests, VIPs, and members who had come from far away to meet me. It turned into a joyous occasion as we encouraged each other. When I returned home, my husband, who listened to all my speeches by phone, or later through the internet, patted me on the back and expressed his appreciation. "Where else could you get such a blessing?" he said, "having such success at a place that is 4,000 meters closer to heaven."
Thank you for listening to Godable.
Thank you, God, your parents, for these words today. You know, this was a good illustration of the challenges of traveling, speaking, tours. You know, it's hard enough for us to just show up at some of these events, right? Gathering people. But for your mother, your parents, it's really challenging. You know, we are so blessed. I wonder sometimes when I hear about these stories, I feel kind of like, well, maybe you should have just stayed home. Maybe you should have spent time with your family and kind of show an example of putting your family first sometimes. But then I think, well, if your parents didn't do that, I may not be here today. Many of us may not be here today if your parents decide to stay home one day. So I shouldn't be so selfish and in my limited understanding. Rather, let's be grateful. Let's be grateful that your parents sacrificed their children, their body, their sleep, so that we can be here. So that's my reflection. If you go into the highlights, if you are entrusted with a public mission, each step you take is laden with heavy responsibility. Oh boy. How many times did you have to decide whether it was worth it to continue on, knowing of the kind of people who, you know, friends you might lose, family members who will lose trust in you for continuing on, or even your children. Like, will they continue to feel your love if you serve every time? You know, are you going to take that phone call that's supposedly very important? Or are you going to spend time with your children? You know, that's what leadership is. It's you know, there's a cost every time you decide not to go somewhere. There's a cost. So that's real leadership, and that's why there's so few great people, because of that, because their sacrifices. There you go. Jesus' crucifixion came to me, referring to Mother's cesarean section that she had 4 of them. And looking at one of them, I will never know the pains of childbirth, and I know Saika has been through it, and you know, whatever I can do to help, I try. But at the end of the day, it's her cross to bear. So I think about that. Every woman who's given birth on planet Earth, it's that each of you had to bear that cross. So that's a very admirable thing that all men should be grateful. And rebirth, the same goes for rebirth. Each time I gave birth, I was ready to die for the sake of God and for the sake of a new life. Yep, that's what Mother knew was on the line each time. So this is in her experience in Bolivia, which it's funny because I'm seeing a lot more Bolivian people lately. I know Freddie and Tina, they're developing their ministry with the Bolivian people living here in New York. Also, I was with Adiel at this 30-year anniversary for the Maggie's Magic Garden up in East Harlem. And there was a bunch of Bolivian ladies who were dancing, and it was very cute. And then now I have a connection now with True Mother, who spoke there and suffered greatly, sickness, headache, legs trembling. But yes, sometimes when people look at that, people are moved when you continue on despite the challenges. Your mother kept a stiff upper lip. You carried on. Because when you do that, clearly your intention is to live for the sake of others. Satan is always challenging us. Or do you really love me? Do you really love all things? Do you really love all these people? And it's when you sacrifice, that's when heaven really knows. Sometimes we do the sacrifice to ourselves, though, and that's not good. I think we need to, create in good environments and stuff like that. But it's that effort that counts. Even though I was exhausted, I maintained a high spirit for the sake of the precious guests, VIPs, and members. So again, the way you can overcome any challenge is to live for the sake of others. If you're doing it for yourself, then chances are you're going to realize it's not worth it. But to go to lose yourself, to go beyond yourself, to serve, to perform, that's the power you get to finish the job. So that's my reflection today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pastor Melvin. Okay, everyone, let's take a few moments to share our reflections, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. Welcome back, everybody. We have a special treat today. Hayo-chan. Hayo-chan asked if he could share, so Hayo-chan, you probably have to unmute.
Okay, so my appreciation today is I'm grateful that I was in a breakout room with the MC, and I'm grateful that today is a very grateful Monday, and I'm grateful that today is a very exciting Monday. I'm grateful that today it's a beautiful rainy day. Thank you.
Thank you, Hayo-chan. Yorika-san, you want to share?
Just a little bit share to the mother's memo. Some kind. Today is also we are reading. We are doing the hundok to the mother's memo, but today is some kind of tear is come up too because two mothers suffered to the public mission and her own children. So pure, the two children is not so easy to listen to how two mothers' heart is still painful and not so much too. So how to support to the two mothers' heart? That's kind of some kind of reflection is coming up. So how important mother's positions.
Thank you, Yorika-san. Thank you. I guess you know, because you're a mother. You know, you can relate. All right, brothers and sisters, before we start our 7-minute unison prayer, do we have any prayer requests today?
Yesterday we found out my brother had stage 4 cancer.
Oh,
Yeah, pray for him, you know. But he's very tranquil. He looked like my daddy, you know. So just say a little prayer for my brother for me. Stage 4.
okay. Sorry to hear that, Juanita.
Yeah.
Any other prayer requests?
His name is Robert. I'm sorry.
Robert?
Robert.
Robert. What's his last name?
What's his last name?
Yeah,
Well, it's Robert Howard Ledbetter.
Ledbetter.
Yeah, Ledbetter.
This might sound a little silly to ask for your help, but I have to get my tooth pulled today. And I'm scared to death, but I am hoping that once this tooth is gone, that I won't have any more earaches and sinus infections and sore throats, which I've been dealing with for years. So I have my appointments at 1 o'clock. Wish me good luck.
In the back?
Yeah, in the back. It's infected. I have to have a bone graft, so it's bone loss there. So anyway, so I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
One trick is to imagine that it's all chalk.
What?
You can imagine that the truth is just chalk.
Oh, okay. I'll try that. Thank you. I'm going to take a bunch of Tylenol before I go.
Can you hear me? This is
Yes.
Teresa.
Yes.
I'd like you to pray for the family of Pat Perkowski and for Pat as she's laid to rest today. Her Sungwa is at 10 o'clock. And I know her 3 sons will really appreciate your prayers.
Will do. Thank you. That's Dr. Stewart. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, they sent it out in the FFWPU newsletter. They sent it out. Okay, brothers and sisters, Now it's time for our 7 minutes use in prayer. Let's begin. Shija. Most beloved Heavenly Parent.
Heavenly Parent, thank you for this morning devotion. To hear so
This
many
morning as we
beautiful things this
prepare
morning.
the ground, dear God,
Bonitas, Robert, Howard, Edmund, Pastor,
pray that
That was a long
Robert,
time ago, but
that
Rain
seems like
upon
a long
us.
time ago, but this is very
last days of
Health
his life here on this earth.
and I know that
Be with Bonita and the family.
the parents
But
condition is here,
suffering
automatic,
and because of that,
people every
and negotiate for
knows
the
about this
path towards
future.
the whole family
This
for
is
the
the time
clan
for emerge.
tribe.
Encourage emerge or not. Nothing is the foundation to
Kathleen's testimony this morning.
destroying the world.
The power of prayer.
Father, we are limited.
We can fill each other's lives with prayer
Is
and allow
mother,
power of love
parent,
the
relationship,
Father to open the
mother
hearts
and
of her
children,
children.
relationship is
So
lost.
parents, grandparents,
Nothing
Father,
really goes over sacrifice. Father, C-section,
Kathleen,
life.
surgery,
Oh,
two getting us
give our debt,
past
pay for our debt.
that she can
This kind of situation that
lose her
affecting
finances,
relationship,
passion,
mother and
headaches,
child,
Father,
parent and
dizziness,
child,
Father.
brothers,
The same thing for anybody who has
families,
disease. Can be
cousins,
mindful of that.
all
Many times the
families
problem is in the
should
tooth,
stand.
not in the other place,
God,
Father.
that is
That
our
this could be
origin.
the same with me.
We have to recognize
At Bukowski
and
and Hannah
relation.
was
Relationship is that
interested about
relationship.
your
Core
hearts, dear God.
Spirit, Father, can ascend successfully and
for our life.
welcomed by the loved ones in the spirit world. Told the man would have met her,
Not understand
visited her,
Father God,
of our life.
itinerary route.
dear God,
Really grateful
That
for
is
especially Therese
what it does
and
to our children.
from a background of
How
day and Rita,
solid, celibate life.
Victoria, oh God,
This is an offering, Father, that
be with
Pat and have made,
on earth.
making right
all the
now.
men that
Also, gratitude for Ernie,
hands and Robert,
his
Family is broken. Nothing
loving and taking care
hope
of,
for you.
protecting Therese. Katie, Father, I know is special eye on my father-in-law,
Good stand as a tribal messiah.
brother,
Families,
wonderful
nephews,
Father that surround our especially.
for those
Father,
are
thank you again, Father, for such a young, such a mature spirit.
the
For
vision.
Ganti, Father, Janita, that I was on in the breakout
Oh,
room with,
Father, we have
Ace and Milton again, Father.
devotion.
Tom,
Very important.
ease of
We do today.
some energy,
everybody,
courage,
For
Father,
next
that
day.
whatever treatment
Because
he gets, Father, can be revolutionary.
emerge
And the
is the
breakthrough
golden
treatment
time. Now moving progress
for Gene Gomez's
for
family.
you.
You know, Samson and
Future.
and for the Mayo family, for Hayo-chan, a beautiful reflection. Yoriko and other
Time.
Mayo,
Please help us to
for
understand
the Green family,
the
Father,
spiritual word for mankind. God's
Desmond
people
and Beryl
as our
and
Father
Joel,
has.
Marguerite,
Pray
Father, for the whole family,
me,
Island family, the
mercy on
Hellers,
us,
Father, continue
have mercy
Nation
on
of
us,
Home Church in Harlem,
for
for the
salvation, because
to write the
MFC Foundation has been laid there. So the Louis and also the Hellers, Father, all the people come to receive His way in the city of New York. Received two parents received the key of the city, New York, 9 years ago. So they want to thank you for that. And our two fathers said, the biggest and the most important city in the United States is New York. It represents the whole world. That's so true. North Ham and upstate Albany, New York City is really the epicenter. Earthquake to happen, Father. Mother coming to the United States to Las Vegas to visit with the young people. Safe travel again. She's packing a suitcase. Going at such an age, Father. Pray for the productive family. Puts all together. Also the young generation, Michael and Willem and for Liz, especially to wake up, shake off whatever's bothering her. Join together, be the mother, and to the family, Father. Pray for the Hoovers there as well. Talks to the Lutz family. Japan Louis again for the Ukrainians, the Fumiko's family, Our family, Lawson's Father Bivatowski, Rose, his family, the iPad, Miles family, for her wanting to pray with them. Start praying and Father, for the Fusas, Yomoko-san's families, for the Whites, for the Isbek's family.
Thank you, everyone, for your prayers. Today, we have 3 anniversaries. The establishment of HSA UWC USA was established in 1962 today. The Madison Square Garden Rally, 1974, and the Washington Monument Rally, 1976. So September 18th, special day. Do you have any announcements? Any other announcements?
Just I want to say that two parents got the key to the city of New York yesterday at the banquet at the Waldorf Astoria 49 years ago. So, Milhan, you have the key to the city. And we all have the key.
That's
we all
right.
have.
You know, I was at the chess gathering at Times Square, and I had a chance to stand up there at the top of the steps, you know, with like the 360 screens everywhere. And I told Aimi, you know, me and Mom are going to stand here and give the blessing, you know, to 1 million people someday, because there were just so many people in view, you know. And like, yeah, this is a good venue for that. So it's true. Yeah, the key. Huh?
I said, so be it. Yes.
Yeah, you know, it was interesting. I was out there Saturday morning. There was basketball going on. You also had like a Christian group. They were singing, and then eventually they were starting to witness in that spot. Like it was all, and all the people, of course, shopping or just hanging around. There's a lot going on in Times Square. And, I just feel like it is. We can claim it. I think totally. It can be claimed for God. You know, you also have a lot of lewd visuals up. So Guy and Satan, everyone's in there. It's a big mix. So yeah, just pushing God's side. That's all.
We have a new member of the choir. Her name is Emika Stevens. Yesterday, Emika was singing with us, and she had her arm raised out like this the whole time, like
at least one, sometimes two. I thought she's like
praising the Lord. And she was clapping.
Yeah. She was taken up.
Yeah. Well, everybody, be careful out there in the rain if you have to go out. Careful driving if you have to drive. Hope you all have a wonderful day. God bless you. Thank you for coming. Bye.
Bye. Have a good day.
Bye bye.
Kathleen.
Good day.
Bye.